What's up, lords and ladies? Welcome back to another video on this channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to save money when it comes to keeping bearded dragons. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there have been keeping reptiles and been keeping bearded dragons for a good period of time. So today, I'm going to be giving you guys my tips on saving money. Now, before I start this video, I want to just quick, disclaimer. Even though I'm going to be sharing with you guys some tips, definitely when it comes to keeping any animal, do not cheap out. There's no cheap way of keeping reptiles, of keeping animals. There's definitely ways that you could save money of them, but when it comes to the quality of their health, of their nutrition, of their diet, definitely don't cheap out on it. You are what you eat, that kind of say. That's why I look like a shawarma today, like I'm wearing brown and everything. Oh my God. But regardless, definitely don't cheap out when it comes to keeping bearded dragons. Oh man, I just took it, I'm wearing brown. Oh man. But with that being said, let's just get started with this video. But before we go, I haven't done one of these in a good while. You already know what time it is. We gotta zoom in. Woo, baby. This right here, to a lot of my new subscribers, you might be confused, but this right here is that 15 seconds of self-appreciation where you self-reflect and you be like, you know what? Today is a good day. Today is a beautiful day to watch a video about saving money about bearded dragons. Now, since I got your attention now, I also like to give a quick shout out to Kara Stover for being the first comment in my last video. So if you want a shout out in my videos, comment down below. Let's see how many comments we could possibly get, and maybe I just do a video on just reading comments. So leave something funny, and I'll definitely put a video out there. But with that being said, hopefully you guys are staying safe. But without further ado, let's just get started with this video. Okay, so tip number one, and now we got Wilbur over here. Someone commented and said that I should do videos with a bearded dragon on my shoulders, so hopefully he behaves. Kind of has like a black beard going on. He probably does not like, meat today. I don't know. Hopefully he's just chill. But tip number one is get yourself a timer. Now, when it comes to keeping reptiles and especially bearded dragons, you're gonna have the light on for at least 12 hours in a day. If you're trying to save electricity, you should definitely get yourself a timer. That way you're always consistent when it comes to the light. And Wilbur, what are you doing? He probably sees the ladies down there. But if you get yourself a timer, you're gonna be able to be more consistent with their temperatures, with their light and daytime. My God, Wilbur, I'm trying to make a video here. Oh my, you see why I don't make a video with bearded dragons in the background? It's like, oh. Wilbur, can you please just allow me to record this video? But like I was saying, you definitely want to get yourself a timer. That way you could save some money when it comes to electricity bill. There's no way that you could shorten the time, but what I found at least is that you're more consistent having a timer, because it's on for 12 days and off for 12 at night. So that way, it's always consistent. Because personally, for me, sometimes I'd forget, and sometimes, if I didn't have a timer, maybe the light would be on for a little bit longer, wasting electricity and possibly even stressing your bearded dragons out. They definitely need that night cycle. I wish that Wilbur was asleep right now because he keeps moving. But with that being said, what in the world, man? I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna record like this. With that being said, let's just move on to the next one. Okay, got beard dragon on my head. But tip number two is to buy in bulk. Now, there's so many videos that I see online when it comes to this topic, and they usually mention buying on bulk. There's some videos that say buy online and, to buy big bulks of crickets and all of these stuff. What I would recommend is to get things in bulk that will last for a long period of time. Usually, stores like the flea market or sometimes the Asian market, they might have, or even farmers markets, they might have, big supplies of you know, vegetables and, you know, carrots and all these things that will last for a long period of time. So if you have a couple bearded dragons or a couple reptiles, even some feeders that you need to feed, I would definitely recommend buying, you know, bulks of, you know, carrots and some sort of veggies that will last long. And when it comes to buying insects in bulk, you definitely want to get something that's going to last for a long period of time. Unfortunately, crickets die pretty fast, so unless you're going to be feeding them off within a period of time, I wouldn't recommend buying in a huge bulk. But when it comes to buying superworms, you know, they last a very long time. Another great insect is Dubia roaches. Dubia roaches are just amazing. Bearded dragons love it. They eat it. They, you know, they last forever. They live for 2+ years. They breed easily.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got them.
Not that I know, okay? I'm just speaking from what I've heard. Oh my God, is it getting hot in here? But seriously, Dubia roaches are amazing. For whatever reason, here in Canada, they are illegal, you know, so I don't use them. Just letting you guys know. I personally have never used Dubia roaches in my life, but from what I've heard, is that they're great for your bearded dragons. And Wilbur over here is just enjoying being on my head. Now, number 3 is to buy used items. Now, to any of you guys out there who don't like buying used items, then this tip is not for you. But to anyone out there starting off, you know, keeping reptiles or getting into the whole entire keeping of a bearded dragon or getting into any other reptile, I would recommend looking up on either Craigslist or on Kijiji. Sometimes people, you know, either give away, you know, enclosures and setups and everything, or sometimes they even give it to you at a discounted price. So checking up on there is a no-brainer. You know, make sure that it's nice and clean and disinfected before putting any reptile in there. But it's a great way to save money and also reuse, kind of recycle old enclosures as well. Personally, I've even sold used enclosures on Kijiji. I've even purchased things off of there just because, you know, retail prices are almost double the price of sometimes what the ads on Kijiji would be asking for, and they're fairly new. You know, these, you know, enclosures last for a long period of time. As long as they're not cracked or scratched, they last for a long period of time, and you could get great deals from buying online. I love how like Wilbur went from like being on my shoulder to just loving being on my head. Wilbur, it's hard to make a video like, you know, oh my God, Wilbur, you psychopath, like straight up psychopath. It's okay. I think he wants to go back inside of things. Oh my God, Wilbur, this isn't even your enclosure, but sure, you could go up there. Oh my God, Wilbur is like a straight up psychopath. He like jumped off my head. Oh. So tip number 4. Now, when it comes to keeping bearded dragons and any reptiles in general, you're eventually gonna run into some issues when it comes to their health. Even if you're providing them the best care that you possibly can, sometimes it could be genetically, and sometimes it could just be something that randomly happened. Now, I highly recommend that you go and get it, you know, any medical advice from a vet, and make sure that you know, are checking up on your bearded dragons and your reptiles and making sure that they are okay. However, there is some things that you can do when it comes to certain things that require first aid. There's a website called beardeddragon.co. Now, I purchase a lot of different goodies when it comes to bearded dragon, you know, stuff from there. They also have a section about first aid, and they have a lot of really good stuff with very informational, you know, care sheets and very informational things talking about the process of it. Because to be honest, sometimes when you go to the vet, you realize that, you know, you paid a huge amount just for them to check it out, and then they give you a prescription of something that you could have just bought online. Now, like I said, I don't recommend you just jumping the gun and purchasing random things and giving them to your bearded dragons. But when it comes to first aid and when it comes to certain things, you definitely could just handle it yourself. You don't need to be spending that extra bit of dollars on vet visits, just for your vet to look at your bearded dragon and be like, oh, it just needs this. Now, when it comes to anything to do with the health of your bearded dragon and medicine, you definitely want to consult with your vet. But beardeddragon.co has a section of first aid, and they have certain things like bee pollen, which, you know, is really good for your bearded dragon, as well as, you know, some disinfectives for enclosures and making sure that the enclosures are nice and disinfected and clean and that are safe for your bearded dragons, as well as certain things like dewormers and you know, vitamins and all of these like little tiny goodies that eventually you're going to run into or need down the road. And like I said, I highly recommend you getting informed and talking to a vet about certain things. But when it comes to the first aid kind of kit, I always have things on hand, because sometimes, you know, vets don't take you in as often, and especially when it comes to exotic vets, you know, there's not that many around, unfortunately. But, you know, like I said, I definitely recommend you getting a trusted vet and consulting with them when it comes to the medicine of it. But if you want to, you know, have a first aid kit on hand, I highly recommend you checking beardeddragon.com, and it's pretty affordable, so you are going to be saving money. You know, beardeddragon.co has you know, a section about first aid and has all these other little tiny goodies that you could basically have a first aid kit on hand for your bearded dragons at an affordable price. Now, last but not least is to start a garden. Now, this is gonna take a little bit of time, as you know, it doesn't just happen overnight, but starting a garden could definitely save you some money in the long run. You know, you could grow your own plants. You know, it's a great way to know what's going on, you know, and what you're giving your bearded dragons is nice and fresh because you planted it yourself. So it definitely takes some time, and I'll actually show you guys, you know, the little setup for my bearded dragons outside. Look at this. Nicely planted. We'll get some of this. Okay, Wilbert, do you want some fresh veggies? Oh yeah. But as you can see, he loves it. It's awesome that, you know, having some sort of garden or fresh veggies that, you know, you've basically planted for your reptiles. It's completely free, and for the whole entire summer, or if you live somewhere where it's warm, you're gonna have access to fresh veggies. And as you saw, I'm also collecting some rainwater that I get to put inside of a container to basically save money when it comes to giving water to your plants. Now, if you're gonna do a big garden, it's definitely going to require a lot. But if you're just gonna plant a couple of, you know, leafy greens for your reptiles and some carrots, it's not gonna be a hard thing to basically do, and it doesn't hurt to try, right? It might be a little bit of a challenge if you live in like an apartment or somewhere where, you know, you don't have access to land, but you could definitely have like some sort of planter or some sort of indoor you know, garden going. But Wilbert seems to love his leafy greens, so it's really awesome. I get to go outside, just pick a leafy green, wash it up, and give it to him straight, you know, from you know, the plant. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and learned a thing or two. If you guys did, you know, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section down below some tips that you guys do to save some money, as well as the very first comment of this video will get a shout out in my next video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. I'm Lord the Lion, keep the blood pumping, and I'll see you guys in my next video.
So here it goes.
Here we go. You gotta hit that notification, hit that notification, hit that notification button, baby. You gotta hit that notification, hit that notification, hit that notification.